Dear students, before go to the test question, let us understand this concept. The question is like this: to avoid the birth of child with fatal sickle cell anemia, option A, marriage between two homozygotes is discouraged, and marriage between two heterozygotes is discouraged. Option C, both A and B, and option D, none of the above. See, for example, marriage between two homozygotes is discouraged. For example, if you take the genotype, so this is the homozygous condition of one parent, and another parent is the homozygous condition again for sickle cell anemia, and the child is going to be born again becomes the homozygous condition, and hence the child is going to suffer from sickle cell anemia. So, the statement A, marriage between two homozygotes is discouraged, that is the correct statement. So, when you see the second statement, the marriage between two heterozygotes is discouraged. See, for example, if you consider a heterozygous condition like this. So, one parent is heterozygous, another parent also heterozygous like this, and child which is going to be born will have a homozygous condition for sickle cell anemia, and hence the child suffers from sickle cell anemia, and hence statement B is also correct. So, the marriage between two heterozygotes is discouraged. So, option C is both A and B, and option D is none of the above. So, when you consider these two marriages, and in both these cases the child is going to suffer from sickle cell anemia, and hence both the statements A and B is correct, and hence the correct option is both A and B. Students, let us take up another question. When dominant AA and recessive small a is crossed, the percentage ratio of the hybrid showing the parental genotypes is. See, for example, one parent, this is the genotype, another parent is the small a. So, when you take the gametes, this is one gamete, this is another gamete. So, after crossing, the F1 individual will have capital A, small a, and you can get two plants, that is heterozygous condition. After selfing between these two, in a F2 generation, for example, after taking the Punnett square board, I take the gametes of one plant to the left side and the gametes of other plant on the top. So, after crossing capital A, capital A, small a, capital A, small a, and small a, small a. So, out of 4 individuals, capital A is the parental genotype, and small a is also a parental genotype. So, in this case, this and this individual is the non-parental genotype. So, the non-parental genotype are 50%, the parental genotype are 50%. Now, let us see, take the options. Option A 0%, option B 25%, option C 50%, option D 75%. As you have seen in the cross, the parental genotypes is 50%, and hence the correct option is C, that is 50%. Dear students, let us take one monohybrid cross. You already seen this table earlier, but still before take up the next question, let us understand this cross once again. So, there is a tall plant and a dwarf plant. This is the genotype and the F1 individual will have a heterozygous condition, and after selfing in the F2 generation there is one homozygous dominant tall plant and one homozygous recessive dwarf plant and two heterozygous but tall plants. So, let us consider one problem based on this question. Now, the question goes like this: 190 grains of zoar from single plant when sown produce 140 tall and 50 dwarf plants. The genotype of these offsprings may be option A capital T, small t, option B capital T, small t, and option C is capital T small t and capital T small t, and option D is capital T, capital T small t and capital T. So, when you consider 140 and the 50 dwarf plants, so the ratio approximately comes to 3:1. So, 3 is the tall plant. The tall plant, the genotype may be capital T or capital T small t, and the 1 is the dwarf plant which is small t. So, when you consider the F2 generation, so out of 4 plants, the homozygous dominant is capital T and homozygous recessive is small t, and there will be 2 heterozygous condition, that is capital T small t, and hence see all the 3 are the tall plants, and the ratio in according to this particular question is 140, and the small t the homozygous dwarf plant is 50. So, it approximately comes to 3:1 ratio. So, in this particular question, so 190 grains of zoar from single plant when sown to produce 140 tall and 50 dwarf plants. The genotype of these offsprings may be, the option D is the correct option, because the genotypes will be capital T small t and the small t and small t. Dear students, let us take another question. Which of the following is correct match? Option A Down syndrome 21st chromosome, option B sickle cell anemia X chromosome, option C hemophilia Y chromosome, option D Parkinson's disease X and Y chromosome. So, when you take up the option A Down syndrome, that is 21st chromosome. So, the Down syndrome occurs due to the an extra chromosome present at 21st pair of autosomes, and option B sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia is an autosomal recessive gene disorder, it is not a X chromosome disorder. Then hemophilia is X chromosome disorder, it is not a Y chromosome. And D Parkinson's disease is not neither X or a Y chromosome. Parkinson's disorder is a neurological disorder. So, when you consider all these 4 options, the option A is the Down syndrome. So, that is associated with the 21st trisomy, that is an extra chromosome present at 21st pair of chromosomes.
ಡಿಯರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ನೀವು ದಿವಿಗೆ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲ್ಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಹೇಳಿ, ಇದೇ ಥರ ನೂರಾರು ವೀಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನು ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿ.